The country mouse lived a simple life. His home was a small burrow beneath an old tree, surrounded by tall grass and fields that stretched out for miles. His days were quiet and peaceful. He spent his time nibbling on seeds, sleeping in the shade, and listening to the wind move through the leaves. One day, his cousin from the city came to visit. The town mouse was slick and fast-talking, his fur perfectly groomed, and his voice full of energy. "You really live like this?" the town mouse asked, looking around at the plain little burrow and the bits of grain and acorns scattered on the floor. "It's cozy," said the country mouse, "and it's quiet. I like it." But the town mouse just shook his head. "You've got to see the city. The food, the lights, the energy. You're missing out." The country mouse hesitated, but curiosity won. The next morning they travelled together to the town. It was loud, crowded, and fast. Everything moved in sharp lines and flashing colours. The town mouse led him through alleyways and cracks in the walls until they reached a grand kitchen inside a wealthy human's house. "This," the town mouse said, grinning, "is dinner." There was cheese, bread, dried fruit, and sweets. The country mouse's eyes widened. He'd never seen so much food in one place. As they began to eat, a loud clank echoed from the hallway. The town mouse froze. "That's just the humans," he whispered. "Don't worry." But then came a heavy thud and a barking sound. The door swung open. A dog charged in. The town mouse bolted, and the country mouse ran after him, heart pounding. They squeezed through a crack in the wall just in time. Once they caught their breath, the town mouse laughed. "You get used to it," he said. But the country mouse didn't laugh. That night, while the city slept, he quietly made his way back home. The fields were empty, the sky dark and quiet, but it felt like peace. He had no cheese, no sweet fruits, but he had silence, safety, calm, and sometimes that was enough. The town mouse wasn't wrong. The city had its magic, but it also had its noise, its danger, and its stress. The country mouse had chosen a different kind of richness, and that's okay. Not all comfort comes from gold plates and bright lights. Sometimes it's just soft dirt under your paws and stars above your head.
The forest path was quiet that morning, just damp leaves and scattered sunlight through the trees. Birds fluttered low and a breeze moved gently through the air. Not far from a wide clearing, a tortoise was making his way slowly across the path. Step by step, no rush, just the soft rhythm of his own pace. He didn't talk much, didn't move fast, but he always got where he was going. One day, a hare spotted him from a distance and couldn't help but laugh. "That's the slowest walk I've ever seen," the hare said, hopping up beside him. "Where are you even going? You'll get there by next year." The tortoise looked up and smiled. "I'm going forward," he said. "That's all that matters." The hare smirked. "All right then, let's race. You and me. First to the old oak tree at the top of the hill." The tortoise thought for a second, then nodded. "All right." When the race began, the hare was gone in seconds. Dust kicked up behind him, paws pounding the trail, laughter echoing as he ran. The tortoise simply walked. Step by step, breathing steady, focused. The hare, already far ahead, looked back once, saw no sign of the tortoise, and decided to rest. "I've got time," he said. He stretched out under a shady tree and closed his eyes, just for a moment. But the wind whispered through the leaves. Time passed, and while the hare slept, the tortoise kept walking. Past the stream, around the bend, up the hill. When the hare woke, the sun had shifted, and he scrambled to his feet. He bolted toward the oak tree, fast, powerful. But when he got there, the tortoise was already waiting, calm, smiling, just breathing. The hare stopped, out of breath, staring in disbelief. The tortoise looked up and said, "Fast isn't always better. Sometimes steady wins." The afternoon heat sat heavy on the land. The fields were dry, the wind had gone still, and the sky stretched pale and cloudless over the earth. A thirsty crow flew low across the fields, his wings growing tired. He hadn't found water all day, and his beak was dry. Then, near the edge of a garden, he spotted something. A pitcher, old, cracked, and half buried in dust, but inside, a glint. There was water in the bottom, just a little. The crow fluttered down and perched on the rim. He bent his head, trying to reach, but his beak couldn't touch the water, too far down. He tilted the pitcher. It was too heavy to tip. He tried sticking his wing in to push the water up, but it didn't work. Frustrated, the crow looked around, and that's when he saw the pebbles, dozens of them scattered along the path. Quietly, patiently, he picked one up in his beak and dropped it into the pitcher. Then another, and another. One by one, the stones sank and the water rose, higher and higher until, finally, his beak touched the cool surface. The crow drank, slowly, gratefully. When he was done, he looked at the pitcher again. Not empty, not full, but enough. And sometimes, enough is all we need. He flew off into the quiet sky, not stronger than before, not faster, but clever, resilient. Sometimes, the problem isn't about force or speed. Sometimes, it's just about finding your own solution. One small step, one quiet idea. And that's you too. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't need to solve the whole day. Just do one small thing, one pebble at a time. And when it's time to rest, rest. You've earned that. Let your thoughts settle. Let your breathing slow. The world will wait. In the heart of a dry, sunlit savanna, a lion lay stretched out beneath the shade of a thorn tree. He was large, powerful, and known by all the animals as the king. Birds sang carefully around him. Antelopes gave him space, and even the breeze seemed to move more gently when it passed over his golden mane. But not everyone was afraid. A small mouse, scurrying along in search of seeds, didn't see the lion until it was too late. He ran straight over the lion's paw. The lion stirred, opened one eye, and with a low growl, pinned the mouse beneath his claws. The mouse trembled.
"I'm sorry,"
he squeaked.
"Please let me go. I didn't mean to."
The lion tilted his head. "You're lucky I'm not hungry," he said. The mouse nodded quickly.
"If you let me go, I'll repay you someday."
The lion actually laughed. "You? Help me?" But he lifted his paw anyway, and the mouse ran off. Days passed. The sun rose and fell. Then one day, the lion was caught. A hunter's trap. Thick ropes pulled tight around his legs, holding him down. He roared and twisted, but the more he fought, the tighter it became. The jungle went quiet, until tiny feet approached. The mouse had heard the sound, and without a word, he got to work. His sharp teeth bit through the ropes, one thread at a time. It took patience and time, but finally, the last strand snapped, and the lion was free. He looked at the mouse, stunned, the same tiny creature he'd almost crushed. The mouse smiled. "I told you I'd help." The lion gave a slow, respectful nod. "You did." From that day on, the lion never looked down on small things again. He walked the savannah as usual, tall and proud. But whenever a tiny paw print crossed his path, he remembered the mouse. Strength isn't always about size, and help can come from the least expected place. Just like the mouse, sometimes all you need to do is show up, be kind, and try, even if no one expects it from you, even if no one sees it right away. What you do quietly still matters. Just like tonight, the world doesn't need you to roar. It just needs you to rest. Let go of the tight knots. Let someone else carry the weight and drift. You're safe here. Quiet day for the fox. The forest was warm, and the golden sun dipped low through the trees, casting soft, amber light across the grass. His paws ached. His belly had been empty since morning. He hadn't caught anything. Not a rabbit, not a mouse, not even a beetle. He was just about to give up and head home when he saw something. A flash of deep purple up ahead, bright against the green leaves. He crept forward, and there they were. Grapes. A full, juicy bunch of them, hanging from a vine twisted around an old wooden trellis. They looked soft, sweet, and cool, the kind that would burst gently in your mouth and trickle down your throat like cold spring water. The fox licked his lips. Then, standing on his hind legs, he stretched his neck up as far as he could. But the grapes were just out of reach. He dropped down, narrowed his eyes. "No big deal," he muttered. He backed up, crouched low, and leapt into the air. But his paws only sliced through empty space. He landed hard, shook off the dust, and tried again. This time higher, closer, but still not enough. The grapes didn't even move. His tail flicked with frustration. "All right," he whispered. "Third time's the charm." He ran, jumped, reached, Nothing. He stood there for a moment, breathing hard, eyes fixed on the fruit swaying gently in the breeze, like it was laughing at him. Finally, he turned away. Whatever, he said, they're probably sour anyway. But even as he walked back into the trees, the ache in his belly didn't fade. He knew the truth. They looked perfect, but his body was tired, his heart a little heavy. Still, he hadn't failed. He'd just reached his limit for today. And that's okay. Sometimes, the strongest thing we can do is stop, breathe, rest. Because not every prize needs to be won tonight. And not every dream needs to be reached before you sleep. The grapes will still be there tomorrow. And tonight, you've done enough. Let the world be still now. Let your thoughts soften. Close your eyes and let yourself drift.